There's five ways
Mm.
a woman can invest in you in a relationship. It's either going to be
Mm.
money, time, emotions, thoughts. When you have a strong idea of who you are and who you want to become, you attract the right people with you. It's called
Mm.
The Changing World
Oh,
Order
changing
by
world order.
Ray
Ray
Dalio.
Dalio.
Yeah, it's a
Right.
great book, and those are difficult books, man. This is it's a big book. It's not like some little 50-page book. High standards protect you from low value situations. A lot of guys, they use one mechanism as a crutch because they don't have access or they don't have the balls to use the
Mm.
other mechanisms. So for example, a lot of guys, they
Right.
only do online dating or only dating apps because they don't have the balls to approach in real life, or they're too lazy to do it, or they don't know how to do it. I give my client this document. It's called the Higher Self Prophecy. It's a very
Right.
important document that I give my clients, and I look at it every day.
Limo, the big man, the guy with the best systems, international play style, the playboy of all time. Let's get it done. Let's get it done. So please
Man, you're
give
introducing
us,
me like, yeah, I like the introduction.
man. I love what you do because everything you do, you show the receipts for.
Yeah.
And this is something you can't help but respect. You can't help but respect that because a lot of people talk, but they don't walk the walk. And
Mhm.
so walking is the difficult part. And you do have the receipts, you do have the systems, you do have the testimonials that back up what you claim to help others achieve.
Yeah.
And this is something that is so attractive and important in today's time because people are looking for those things. But what I am curious about, and probably what everyone will be curious to know about, is how did it all begin for you? Like,
Mhm.
where was the breaking point that you felt, okay, maybe you I'm not sure, but maybe you weren't good with women before, maybe you were naturally born with it and you want
Mhm.
to spread the blessings to other people. So,
Yeah.
but how did it all begin for you, Lima?
Yeah, it's a great question, and I think it's important to go back to the root of the story because we all have a story, and there's a reason why we do what we do. I think a lot of guys in the industry, not just me, we've all started because at the root we struggled at some point. Even you listening to this, if you're listening to this video right now and you want to improve your dating life, it's probably because at some point you had a breakup, you struggled with women, something happened, and you wanted to improve because of that. Now, for me, it was honestly, I mean, I was always interested in women. Like, I'm not gay. Obviously, I like women. So, since the age of 12 or 13, I wanted to fuck girls, right? So, I was always like, okay, I want to be good at it, number
Yeah.
one. And number two, what really triggered my deep curiosity for the topic is really a breakup that I had when I was 17. So, I was in high school
Mm.
in Tunisia. I grew up in Tunisia most of my high school years. And there, it's a microcosm of, there's like a group of rich people there, like rich families and stuff that know each other really well.
Mm.
And then there's the 90% of
Right.
the population that's struggling. So it's really like there's a huge
Mm.
social class difference there. Now, I was fortunate. I
Right.
was in a pretty high level high school because I was in the French high school, which was kind of the kind of the rich high school there in a way, because it's like the French
Mm.
high school compared to like the normal, they have their normal like Tunisian high school, which is not that great. And so I was surrounded by a lot of rich kids, a lot of rich people, a lot of beautiful girls, etc. And at some point, I was kind of getting popular in my high school because I was throwing parties and putting myself out there.
Mm.
And I was dating one of the hottest girls in high school, like literally really one of the hottest girls. She's actually she was Miss Tunisia or Miss Africa at some point.
Oh.
And now I mean we don't talk to each other anymore. Actually, funny, she got married and stuff now. It's funny to see, after many years. But yeah, and so I really felt like, yeah, this girl was, would be like, yeah, it's my girl, it was like kind of a goal for me to have a girl that was on that level. And I was like, and,
Right.
and the thing is, when that happened, at first I didn't believe it. I was like, shit, am I really with this girl now? How am I gonna handle it? I was like stressing out because I didn't know what to
Yeah.
do. I didn't have any game or any education when it came to
Mm.
seduction or success with women. So I was really stressed,
Right.
and I was yeah, I was losing my confidence with her. I didn't know what to do, what to say. And after a few days and weeks, like we ended up breaking up. And that was honestly my fault because I wasn't doing anything and I was super shy at the time. I like just to tell you, I was seeing her, it was technically my girlfriend. And as soon as I saw her in kind of the school courtyard,
Mm.
my heart was racing. I didn't know what to do. It was a fucking, yeah, it was weird, man. It was so weird. I was almost trying to not see her, like trying to escape.
Mm.
Like it was so weird. It was so weird, man. But yeah, anyways, then after that, I was like, shit, I need to get my game on. So I started going to the gym more. I started reading about, seduction online and how to get girls and how to seduce them. And that's when the journey started. And then I went to college in Montreal, Canada. And then
Mm.
I was alone. I was living alone by myself, so I had a lot of times on my end, and I was just reading and watching videos and stuff, and then investing in courses, etc. And then I started
Yeah.
many businesses when I was a student, but it all started from that story. I can make the story longer, but it really came from number one. I always loved girls and wanted to be good at it. I knew that. And number two, that breakup and that feeling of like sucking and not being able to control the outcomes of a
Right.
relationship, that was really
Mm.
frustrating. Not having control, like feeling like I was
Yeah.
just the chosen one, feeling like I was
Yeah.
just relying on luck. And that's what I
Mm.
felt back in the day with her. I was just chosen. I was lucky, she chose me kind of in some way because I didn't have really a lot of game, but I
Mm.
was just like that cool kid in some way. And then I didn't know how
Right.
to maintain it, and that was my fault because I was just not educated enough and I didn't have enough experience. So
Right. 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 Man, this is actually very interesting. And
yeah,
yeah, I found the part where excited me the most about this is I'm sure anyone who listened to this is going to go like, so it's always my fault when a breakup takes place.
yeah,
As long as I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, and please correct me if I'm wrong, you're the expert. So as long as I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, if she's not on my game plan, then she has to go. But most of the time, it's only very few specimen of men who are on that level. Most of the time, it's just like you mentioned, they can't even believe. They're like, the chosen one, she chose me, instead of saying, I choose you. It
yeah.
goes, it goes the other way around.
It was the other
So,
way. Yeah.
and yes, and please tell us about the negative impact that that kind of mindset could have, and how it could also extend to other parts of life.
Yeah. So it all comes down to having the right frame, and living your life with the right frame. Because the thing is, we all have what we call a locus of control. And our locus of control is basically our ability to have control over the outcomes in our lives. So, for example, if you're a guy who eats healthy, goes to the gym consistently, is consistent with that, has a routine, etc., your locus of control towards the gym is very, very high because, like, you know exactly what to
Mhm.
do, you're consistent, etc. However, if you're a guy
Yeah.
who eats whatever, you don't know what to eat, you don't have a routine, you work out whenever you feel like it, you don't have a discipline or whatever, you don't have any locus of control. Same thing, if right now in your life you think that everything kind of is happening to you and you're the victim, and because of that you can't act a certain way,
Mhm.
and you don't take responsibility and all of that, then your locus of control is very weak. So I think
Right.
having a strong frame, number one, comes from having a strong locus of control, acknowledging that everything is 100% in your responsibility, and any outcome you have, whether how much money you make, the girls you have, the body you have, everything is in your control. That's the first thing to acknowledge to make a change. And then I forgot what was the question, but you said, yeah, what was the impact of
Yeah.
that?
What was the impact on habits mindset on not only women, because that relates to also everything else. Because if that's how
Yeah,
you think, then that's how you do things as well.
yeah, it relates to everything else. And I've seen this so many times where, a guy comes to me, and initially maybe he doesn't have a business, his body is not that great. With women, he's not taking opportunities. But then by changing his mindset and by changing his outlook on life and taking responsibility and ownership, everything starts to change. He starts taking action with women, which ripples through his confidence. His confidence allows him to build a business that he wanted to start for a while, but he didn't do that because he didn't have the confidence to start it.
Mhm.
But now he has the confidence because he starts taking action with women. And then because of that, he starts also taking care of his body, his physique. It's all about taking responsibility and then putting the right actions. Yeah. Everything is synergistic. There's not one single area that doesn't really impact the other. Because, like, you have to
Right.
understand there's three main areas as a man you need to master, right? Health, wealth, and relationships. And if you don't take
Mhm.
care of your wealth, for example, then that's going to ripple through your relationships because then you can't really afford to go out, you can't really afford to pay for
Right.
things, etc. So your relationship takes a
Mhm.
hit. Then also maybe your health, because now maybe you don't want to pay for a gym membership anymore, or maybe because you focus so much on money because you don't have any money, then you
Mhm.
don't have time to relax and go to the gym, or you don't have any time off. So then your health takes a hit. So either you can go into a downward spiral, or you can go into an upward spiral when it comes to any area. Same thing with women. Even if you're very rich, if you don't have the right understanding of female psychology and communication, you're gonna
Mhm.
start maybe falling for with I mean you're gonna get entangled with the wrong woman who's gonna literally
Right.
take all your money and get you into a sink of like a full downward
Mhm.
spiral of failure. She's gonna take your money, she's gonna maybe take the kids if you have kids with her, gonna sue you, she's gonna do whatever. Like everything is gonna stem from
Right.
you not working on that
All
area.
connected.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah, same thing for health. Like, you work all how many times have we seen guys who, they've worked all their lives prioritizing money and never prioritizing their health. And then, they get a cancer at 34, they get a something at whatever and they die. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Man, that's some golden nuggets right there. It's a lot of insights, and it's funny because I think this is where most boys have a problem with, and I say boys because men usually don't have that problem. It's you could be 40 and still be a boy. I
Yeah.
firmly believe that because if you don't have the right mindset for a man to say, I take responsibility for everything, and I need to have, like you said, like a locus of control. I need to control one, two, three, those three areas of my life. Then you're just a boy. Because if you live based on your desire purely, you don't have, you can't call yourself a man of substance, right?
Mhm.
So, what is the transition phase from boy to man, especially when it comes to the woman side? Like, because a woman would notice if you're a boy or a man right off the bat, they can recognize that. And
Mhm.
so you talk a lot about the frame and how your frame should be
Mhm.
solid and how your frame should be on point. So how
Yeah.
does one go from being a boy to becoming a man with a solid frame?
Well, I mean, there's two parts to it. There's the inner work part and there's the outer work part. So a man, no, sorry, a boy becomes a man when he realizes that nothing is, I mean, no one is coming to save him, not his parents, not anyone. He's alone in this world and he needs to make it. And he needs to know that there's competition. Like, even if, you're born good looking or you're born a certain way with money, still, like,
Yeah.
you're gonna have to build yourself up. Otherwise, you're gonna get crushed by the other guys. So a boy becomes a man when he realizes that life is competitive. The dating is competitive. Everything is competitive. So he needs to step up and make things happen in every area. And when he takes responsibility and when he realizes that he only has one life and he needs to make that life worth living and improving in every single area. Then another thing is, so I mentioned there's the inner work part and the outer work part. So in terms of inner work, I think, the beginning of all wisdom is, knowing yourself first. So you gotta, there's this quote, know thyself, right? By Aristotle. Aristotle, he's big on
Yeah.
that as well, of like
Mm.
really doing some deep work on yourself. And I think it's very important to understand what kind of man you are, what kind of life you want to live, what kind of partners you want to have in that life, and what kind of what are your selfish goals, not what your
Right.
mom would like you to
Right.
do, not what society would like you to do. What are your
Mm.
selfish primal goals as a man? Because a lot of guys live their lives because they live their lives in a way that maybe their parents want them to or their society want
True.
them to. But you got to live your life very selfishly. What are you selfishly passionate about? What desires do you have,
Mm.
and what are you willing to sacrifice to get there? And once you have
Yeah.
a strong idea of who you are and who you want to become, then it's
Right.
all about taking action and towards that. And also, when you have when you have a strong idea of who you are and who you want to become, you attract the right people with you because a lot of guys also they choose the wrong women because they don't even know what kind of women they want to attract or what kind of life they want to live. Like they
No.
don't have clarity on who they are, and so they attract the wrong people. They attract the wrong situations, right? They don't have any
True.
standards. And I saw a quote the other day, like high standards protect you from low value situations as well. So so so
Mm.
so that's one thing. Yeah.
I love that.
Uh,
I love that. I love
yeah.
that.
So the inner
That
part,
that's great. No,
no, go
no,
ahead.
that's I was just saying that's really great insight. Please keep going on. Please keep going.
Yeah, no, I was just saying, like, yeah, the inner part is really about knowing yourself, being, taking ownership for everything in your life, etc. And I give my clients this document. It's called the Higher Self Prophecy. This is something we build with my
Yeah.
clients. It's a very
Right.
important document that I give my clients, and I look at it every day. And
Mm.
it's a very important document because it's kind of your own self-fulfilling prophecy. Like basically, you map out exactly
Mm.
what you want in your life, like your goals, your lifestyle, who you want to become, etc. And I make my clients write
Yeah.
their Wikipedia page, their future Wikipedia page. So imagine if in 50 years,
Oh.
imagine if in 50 years your grandkids or whatever, they stumble into
Yeah.
your Wikipedia page. What would be your
Mm.
dream Wikipedia page that they stumble on? Like, for
Right.
example, Marcel built this crazy foundation and business and blah, blah, blah. And he helped,
Yeah.
thousands of people and whatever. And you want to write it in the present or past tense as well, as if it already happened.
Mm.
That's important
Yeah.
for your subconscious. But really, like
Mm.
having clarity and mapping it out and writing down your goals and being very clear on who you are and who you want to become is going to be the
Yeah.
foundation of everything when it comes to dating. Because unless you understand your values, you understand who you are and who you want to become, all that
Yeah.
gamey, flashy shit, all those pickup lines you might learn, all
Mm.
those attraction secrets, verbal systems, cold approach, online, whatever, it's all fluff until you truly know yourself first. Otherwise, you just come from the wrong foundation. So
Sure.
so inner work first, and then outer work. Obviously, working on your body every week, working on acquiring new skills. I'm actually reading a really great book right now. It's called
Mm.
The Changing World
Oh,
Order
changing
by
world order.
Ray
Ray
Dalio.
Dalio.
Yeah, it's a
Right.
great book, and those are difficult books, man. It's a big book. It's not like some little 50-page book. This is like
Yeah.
yeah, this is like 600 pages book. You know, it's like a fucking encyclopedia or whatever. Anyway,
Right.
so like you want to read hard things. You don't want to read some newbie thing, and you don't want to also lift those like little weak ass weights, like those purple weights or whatever, those little weights in the gym. You want to really push yourself to
Yeah.
get the big weights, the weights that scare you.
Sure.
Same thing, the
Mm.
books that scare you. Same thing, do the actions that scare you. If you see a girl that's really, really hot, push yourself to actually approach her and not the 5 out of 10 or the 4 out of 10 that you don't care about. So
Mm.
it's also about that, doing the outer work, pushing yourself, and like investing in yourself, even if it hurts your wallet in the short term, is
Yeah.
going to help you in the long term. Recently, I invested like 15K into a mastermind in Dubai, and obviously it hurts your wallet when you invest 15K. When you think about it, I could have bought a Rolex, I could have bought three MacBook Pros or even more, and I don't know how
Mm.
many iPhones. But you
Yeah.
know, it's just an investment, and you got to make those hard decisions at some point.
Right.
So it's also that. Yeah.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
And the reason why a lot of what you say is life changing for a lot of people is because you speak directly where people have problems.
Hmm.
So a lot of people, they speak and they beat around the bush, and they're not really very direct with what people actually need. So
True.
it's when people say that I have a problem, for example, talking to a specific person, or I have a problem building a business, you just come straight into it and say, see, the source of your problem is one, two, and three. Fix those things, and your life will change. And this is what I like about having a conversation with you, is because every time you speak, it's not just talk. There's a
Mm.
big difference between talking and speaking, because talking could be, you could just be saying any nonsense. But speaking is saying things with intention, with the intent of influencing a change. And this
Yeah.
is the best way to make a difference in this world. And man, you're doing a really great job, man. I'm
I
sure the world has
appreciate it.
already recognized I'm sure the world has already recognized, but I want to say this in person. Like, man, thank you for everything you do for people who listen to you, for people who watch your content, for people who read your books, people who consume what you produce to the world, because you really do your best with helping people make a difference, and that's great. That's
Mm.
great.
Man, I
And
really
so,
appreciate that.
uh,
It warms my heart, to be honest. When I because sometimes I question myself, should I keep doing this? Because I'm telling you, man, like sometimes I have doubts too, and I question myself, like, what am I doing? I'm teaching guys how to improve their dating lives. Am I really gonna do this all my life? Am I really gonna whatever? Am I really gonna be this guy? And like sometimes I question my identity. I've had a lot of hard times where hard, honest times where you go to sleep at night and you're thinking, is it really how my life is going to unfold? Am I going to do this all my life? And, also when I see the success stories and I see you, for example, telling me that, or my clients also telling me that, like, fuck, man, you've changed my life, or fuck, before meeting you, I had literally zero dates. Now I'm able to do whatever. And when I hear
right,
those messages, it warms my heart. And I don't know if I'm going to keep doing this for
yeah,
another 30, 40 years. I don't know. But what's sure is I'll keep helping as many men as possible. And the thing that you touched on about talking versus speaking, this is something that personally bothered me a lot online when I listen to people. Because a lot of times I've listened to podcasts or I've listened to videos of people talking about a specific subject, and they just beat around
yeah,
the bush the whole time. They don't really go to the thing, and they just say some broad little thing that really
yeah.
doesn't give any value. And I'm
It's
really
always
against
very
that.
vague.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm,
I'm really against that. When I speak, it's really intentional and I give you the sauce directly. I don't want to beat around the bush, do some fluffy
right.
talk. Like if I'm here, I just want to give you the sauce. So yeah,
Right, right.
yeah,
Man,
yeah,
I appreciate you giving us portion
yeah,
of your time, because it's really important. It's really important for everybody who's listening, that
yeah,
they listen from people who do have the credentials, who do have the receipts, because
yeah.
anybody can talk, but not anybody can show proof that what I'm doing works, and this is why you should listen to me. So, and this is great, man. This is great, and this is also one of the reasons why I wanted to reach out to you to have this conversation, because this was like, this is brilliant to to share the mind and the soul of somebody who knows what they're talking about. It's really great. I'm sure we're going to everybody who listens in the future. So, uh, I have a very curious question when it comes to the systems that you build, Limo, because
Yeah.
you're very famous for this, building systems that work internationally. And
Yeah.
this is where your system is a little different than everybody else's. Because everybody can teach you, okay, I'm going to teach you how to meet people in Dubai. I'm going to teach you how to connect with people in Dubai. It's always about in Dubai, or in New York or in London, but it's very rare to find somebody who says, listen, you can take the system anywhere and it will work. And your system does exactly that. So
Yeah.
please let us know about, I'm not going to say secrets, because secrets is like maybe the wrong word, but what makes your system so unique that it really works everywhere
Mm,
else?
mm. Yeah, the reason why my system works everywhere else in the world and anywhere you go is because it doesn't rely on a single factor or a single mechanism or way of attracting women. You see, a lot of guys, they use one mechanism as a crutch because they don't have access or they don't have the balls to use the
Mm,
other mechanisms. So, for example, a lot of guys, they
right.
only do online dating or only dating apps because they don't have the balls to approach in real life, or they're too lazy to do it, or they don't know how to do it. And so you got to be
Mm,
versatile. And the reason why my system works everywhere is because even if one of the systems doesn't work, I have four, five, six, seven other ways to generate dates anywhere. So
mm,
even if I don't have the internet, I can generate dates in real life. If in real life
right.
there's nobody or the laws don't match that, then I can meet women
Mm,
online. If I can't meet women
mm,
online, then I can, infiltrate a social circle where there are women. There are so many
yeah,
different things, but really universally, there's three main ways to get dates. It's either going to be online dating, with Instagram
yeah,
mainly, if possible, or dating apps, but Instagram is king. Then you have cold approach. This is internationally, you can do it unless you have some crazy Sharia law, Muslim country or whatever, or maybe it's
mm,
forbidden, I don't know, in some parts of the world, but it's very rare that it's forbidden, unless it's like a
yeah.
very strict religious country, but very
Mm,
rare. And otherwise, social circle is universal, but same thing. Like in some countries, trying to build a social circle in Afghanistan to get girls is not going to be you know
yeah,
the,
that's
the
not
the
the
best.
brightest idea.
Yeah. So you have to also geography is important, man. Also for this, man. Like if you live in a fucking small town with 10,000 people, you're going to be very limited compared to the guy who lives in Miami with or Dubai.
Mm,
Dubai for dating doesn't have the best reputation, but still you can still date. But you see what I mean in a bigger city, let's say.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So
Works.
what secrets do you want to know? What secrets are you curious about? Because I can talk about anything to be honest. But what separates me from the other systems is it's not a single thing that I teach. I teach many different things that
Mm,
apply, and so there's different ways to
yeah.
generate dates. There's not only one way. A lot of coaches, they're very single focused. Like you see guys like I don't want to give names, but you see guys who are too focused on social circle only, and they kind of ditch cold approach or online at all, and they're only
Yeah.
that. Now it's okay to focus on one thing, but I think it's not like cold approach versus social circle, for example. It's about using both synergistically to get the
Mm,
best outcomes, because both are
right.
interrelated if you use them correctly. So it's
Yeah.
about using all of them in a way that's synergistic and in a way that exponentially creates like results. That's the thing. Yeah.
Uh, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. Limo, when you speak about social circles, could you please elaborate on what a social circle would look like? So, what is a social circle? How do you get
Mm.
in there?
Yeah, so a social circle is not being friends with anybody. It's not being friends with everyone. It's about selectively choosing people based on the value they can provide or how they can facilitate access to things for you. Now, it's
Mm,
not about just taking from people. I don't want people to think, "Oh, I'm going to build a social circle just so that I can extract value from people only." It's about giving to. Actually, the best networkers are the best givers. They're the guys who give freely, who invite,
mm,
who merge people together, who always, make that extra effort. So it's not about taking,
yeah.
taking, taking. It's about giving as well. But yeah, social circle is basically a group of people that you're gonna create a connection with in your city or all over the world. Because you can have a social circle globally. Now I travel a lot, so I have kind of a social circle globally now, especially with my clients. I have clients all
Yeah.
over the world in pretty much almost every big city in the world. So if I travel, I know, okay, if I go to London tomorrow, oh, let me hit up, Jack and Tom and this guy, and
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
they're in my kind of network. So you can
Mhm.
have a micro social circle in your city, and you can have a macro social circle globally. I like to have
Right.
both, and ideally you want to have both, but you can start with your city and build those connections. You can make friends everywhere. You can go and take classes. I took martial arts classes. I met a lot of cool guys in the boxing gym. I met a lot of guys at the gym, like fitness gym. I met a lot of guys
Yeah.
in conferences, in masterminds. Like when I was in Dubai a few weeks
Mhm.
ago, for example, I met really cool guys in the masterminds.
Yeah.
You can meet guys everywhere, and then you can have mixed. I mean, usually when it comes to dating, guys think of social circle, like they want the social circle to be mixed, right, with girls as well, and uh, and,
Right.
and that's the best thing to do. Yeah, if you want to get dates, you want a social circle where you can have a few female friends, a few girls in it, create parties, create events. Even sometimes you can create photo shoots, create, there's so many things you can do. Events you can create, theme parties, stuff like that.
Mm.
So yeah, if you're asking me about the definition of a social circle, it's just like a group of people that you connect with in your city where you can provide value to each other mutually and
Mm.
reciprocally over time. And you just want to expand that circle over time and create more and more value and more connections
Right.
and more abundance. So that's
Mm.
that's it. Yeah.
That's good. That's great, man. That's great. As always, man, like you can't say anything, but this is just golden insight. It's like gold in sound form. So I would like to go on. This is what I like to call like burner questions. So
Yeah.
we have like 10 burner questions, and you have around like 30 seconds to answer each one. Would you be ready to go for that?
Sure.
All right. So let's go. Let's go. The first question is, what is the best opening line?
The best opening line is, first of all, not calling it an opening line and assuming familiarity and going in anyway. Like you can open with anything. Listen, the opener, the myth of like you need to have this amazing opener and have this really cool opening line. It's a myth, guys. Like honestly, at the gym or anywhere, I can approach with anything. Like, hey, do you speak English? That's a good opener. Hey, are you from blah blah blah? That's a good opener. But if you want me to
Right.
give you a really simple opener that you can stick to, just say
Yeah.
this. Just say, hey, I know it's random, but I just saw you. I wanted to come say hi. Where are you from? Something like that. Something very simple where you give her the reason why you wanted to approach her. You give her, you acknowledge the fact that it's something that people don't usually do, or the fact that it might be a bit random, and that's it. And then you just switch to transition to another topic. So really
Perfect.
like yeah, that's kind of the best opener. Like statement of empathy, maybe a time constraint, like hey, 2 seconds, or hey, I have to go soon, but I just saw you. You looked interesting. I have to
Mm.
go, but I want to come say hi. Like
Yeah.
that's also powerful. But anyways, yeah, that's the
Right.
opening.
So question number two. 30 seconds to answer. Let's see how quickly we can go through them. Right. So
Yeah.
question number two is how many women is a lot of women?
I would say when it starts to affect your health and your work, I've had weeks where I've dated girls pretty much every day, like from Monday to Saturday, Sunday. I was like every single day I was dating one different girl. That's too much in my opinion, because like it is just too much. It's just too much. You just get tired of it. So I'd say a healthy balance would be one or two a week to be able to focus. But that's just
Yeah.
personal. It really depends on your situation, what kind of guy you are, etc. It really depends. I can't give like a mainstream answer, but probably dating a
Yeah.
girl every day is too much universally.
It's too much to handle.
Between
Yeah.
yeah, between 1 and 4 is a lot, and four starts to get pretty big. So I would say 1, 2, 3 usually. That's why when I talk to guys, I always say, "Do you want to get 1, 2, 3 dates a week?" Usually in my marketing message, because usually most guys they want to get like 1, 2, 3 dates a week, not more than three usually.
Yeah.
That's what I've
Yeah.
found. So yeah.
Because then it gets like that's it up. Like, all right, relax.
Yeah. And look, you can
Yes,
have one only as well. Like you can have one girl long term that you focus on, but I highly
yeah,
recommend before you get into a long-term relationship, have some experience first, meet many first, see what you
mm,
like, see what kind of women you vibe with. And that way you're gonna have a much healthier relationship long term
right,
with the person you choose. So
true.
definitely, yeah, date first.
You don't know what a good apple is if you haven't tried a lot of apples.
Yeah, and I know from who you took that quote because I heard that quote too, and I used to say that quote.
I do, but mentioning his name could get us
Yeah,
to get us every
yeah,
time.
yeah,
But it is very true. It is
yeah,
very true.
yeah, for
So
sure.
like you gotta try a lot of it until you know,
Yeah, yeah, you
like
got to taste a
when
lot
you
of
got
ice
the experience
creams.
behind it.
Yeah, you got to taste a
Right,
lot of
right,
ice creams
right,
before you know the flavor you like. Yeah.
right, right. So
Yeah.
question number three: what is the red flag that you could spot right off the bat, and you would say, "Yep, no way."
Uh, I mean, there's a lot of red flags, but I would say it depends for if it's for short term or for long term.
Yeah. Let's say for short term.
For short term, a red flag would be, I mean, number one, obviously, if she's not that hot, then it's not really a red flag. This is more of a physical trait. I would say there's a lot
Yeah.
of red flags. And I mean, look, I'm not gonna sit here and say that I wouldn't fuck a girl with tattoos because tattoos can be sexy if it's a small one, if it's okay. I could fuck a girl with tattoos. Now, if she has too many tattoos and like it's too
Mhm.
much, like even on her face and her arms and whatever, then it would be a red flag. Same thing with piercings if it's too much. Same thing with dyed hair as well. Like if she has blue hair, red hair, etc., that's instant red flag.
That's it.
Just dye,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, dye. If she dyes her hair, instant red flag. Um, then, I mean, it depends if it's a girl like I see online or it's a girl I meet in real life. If I meet in real life, really one of the red flags is if I see that, she's too much into drugs and stuff, that would be a red flag as well.
Hmm.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Or if I see that too, she's used to being with too many guys. That's a big red flag. That
Right.
turns me off. When I see that she's been with too many guys, it
Of
turns me
course.
off. Yeah. Yeah.
But
So.
yeah, the next question is actually going to be how do you figure that out? Because usually if you ask right off the bat, like of
Mm,
course you don't ask right off the bat, but when you ask that question, usually when it comes to having that conversation, like what is your body count? They usually don't tell you the truth. So
mm,
if she says like three, it's probably 30, like you never know, or 13, who knows? Yeah. So
yeah.
do you think there is a method in which you could maybe not very accurately, but with comfort, you could tell, okay, probably it's this amount.
Yeah. Well, number one, never ask a woman her body count. That's not that, it's not that great. It's not good practice at all because it's gonna bring bad vibes and it's just not good game. Don't ask her body count. What you want to do is you want to try to understand when was the last time she had a relationship that's long term. So maybe she's gonna tell
Right.
you, oh, 2 years ago, 1 year ago, whatever. If it's been a really
Mm,
long time, like more than 3 years, it could be a
mm,
bit of a red flag because that means she's been used to being single for a while already now and all of that.
yeah.
Number one. Then you want to ask her whether she likes to party and go out a lot. So then you can see if she likes to party, etc. Then you can see kind of if she likes drinking and if she's ever taken drugs. All of those things. And
Mm,
and 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 then you can see whether she travels a lot. If she travels a lot to festivals, to stuff like that. I don't know. If you combine being single for a while, plus partying a lot, plus she
yeah.
likes to drink and take drugs, plus she
She's
likes to
probably
travel
not
with
the
her
one.
friends all the time. It's yeah, and then you want to ask her about her preferences in terms of guys and what kind of guys she
Yeah.
likes, stuff like that. Her sexual preferences and kind of understand what kind of person she is, and then you can make up an idea. If it's, as I said, if it's a girl who has been single for a while, she likes to party, she likes to drink, she's into a certain type of guy, she had a lot of sexual experiences, she has had maybe some toxic exes in the past. You kind of
Right.
know like she's been through a lot and she has some baggage. So yeah.
Right. Right. Nobody wants the baggage. So
Yeah,
you
man.
can have it.
Yeah.
See you tomorrow. Probably never. Like
Yeah,
so,
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
you
man.
ideally not. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. So usually when it comes to maintaining an LTR, like a long-term relationship, what do you advise people to do to
Mm.
maintain an LTR? Let's say he's already started, like he's got it. They're official now. How do they maintain for a long term?
Mhm. Well, number one, you never want to change yourself because of a girl. So the same things that made her attracted initially to you are the things
Mm.
that are going to keep you attracted long term. So a lot of guys, when they
Sure.
start meeting a woman, a lot of guys, maybe when they initially met her, they were alpha because they were, taking care of themselves, hanging out with their friends, doing their shit, etc. But then when they start meeting that girl and dating her, etc., they start kind of pressing on the brake in their life. Like they start, maybe going
Mm.
less to the gym. They start doing less things. They start being less engaged with their work and prioritizing their girl more. And because of that, the girl starts losing respect for him because he's not the guy she was used to seeing, like she used to be attracted to, and so then the relationship suffers. So you want to keep
Because
doing
he
the
was
things
pretending.
that. Hmm? Sorry.
Yeah. Because he was pretending all the time
Yeah, yeah. You
when it
want to
all
keep doing.
began.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I mean some guys weren't pretending when they all began. Some guys were really that way, but then they
Mm.
changed because of the girl. They became influenced.
Mm.
They started making a lot of concessions in their lives and compromising themselves and who do they truly are for her. And the thing is, if you want to
Mm.
maintain a long-term relationship, you want to be uncompromising about your non-negotiables. You need to have non-negotiables in the relationship. You need to have time with friends as a non-negotiable. You need to have time for you as a non-negotiable. You need to have time for work as a non-negotiable. And you need to. There's a lot of things you need to have as a boundary. So a lot of guys don't set boundaries and they start conceding to her endless requests and they start compromising themselves in the relationship. And that's what I call pussification by a thousand cuts, basically. They start becoming pussified. Yeah, they become pussified by a thousand cuts because the girl maybe asks them, yeah, man.
That's such a good one, man.
Yeah, it's just
Sorry,
pussification
please
by a
carry on.
thousand cuts. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's like for example, they used to train 4 times a week. Now they train only 1 time a week, or maybe don't train at all anymore. They used to
Yeah.
instead of spending time with their girl, they used to spend more time on their business. But now that they have the girl, they prioritize the girl more, and so their business takes it. Like
Mm.
there's a lot of different things, or maybe at some point the girl starts to ask things that don't really make sense, but they just want to keep the peace, and so they agree. So, for example,
Mm.
the girl starts saying to them like, "Hey, honey, I think we should try this vegan diet. I think it would be great. Like, yeah, let's go vegan together. Let's try." And then the guy goes vegan with the girl, where, initially he likes to eat meat, but now he's vegan, and so he becomes maybe weaker or whatever. I don't know. It's a silly example.
Yeah.
But maybe the girl also, at some point in the relationship, maybe she has friends of hers who are single, and so now she wants to party with her friends
Mm.
while you're at home. And now she gets with her friends who are single, she gets drunk in a club and she does things that you probably wouldn't
Yeah.
wouldn't want to see. And that makes her lose respect afterwards when she comes back home, or stuff like that. Like
Right.
there's a lot of different things. There's a lot of different things, but really you need to have boundaries. And me and you, we come from a Muslim background, and I think Islam and the Muslim culture in general does a really great job in maintaining relationship and relation. Because if you go to Muslim countries, like you go to Qatar, you go to UAE, you go to Saudi Arabia, whatever, you can see that there's a very deep relationship between the husband and the wife, and it's a very respectful
Right.
relationship on the terms of religion as well. And so I think
Right.
when you put also religion in the equation in the relationship and you have a mutual value like that, it also strengthens the relationship a lot. So I think
Right.
definitely if you try to have a long-term thing, try to have a girl who has really similar values. And ideally, if you have like a similar religion, like you're both Muslim, for example, and you believe the same traditional things, That's going to make the relationship
Yeah.
work a lot more. And I think getting a girl that's a bit religious is great, because if you have a woman that fears God and that fears, being punished by God, then she's not going to act in a
Yeah.
way that's going to be degenerate in the relationship as well.
Oh,
And same for you, same for you. So there's going to be this mutual value there.
mm,
So there's different things, but I'm getting out of the topic here a bit. But to maintain to maintain a relationship,
yeah.
remain uncompromising about your goals. Stay
Right.
like the same things that initially attracted her to you are going to also keep her attracted to you in the long run. So don't stop those
Sure.
things. And
Right.
then find ways to keep her invested in the relationship. There's 5 ways
Mm,
a woman can invest in you in a relationship. It's either going to be
right.
money, time, emotions, thoughts, or just I forgot the last one. There was emotion, thoughts, time, money. There was another one. Fuck, I forgot. Anyways, but some of these things, right? Time,
Okay. Can I
emotion,
take a guess?
energy. Yeah.
Let me take a guess. I think spontaneity, like surprising, constant surprising, being unpredictable when it comes to things.
Also, yeah, that's one of the things too, like being unpredictable, always building anticipation, always have something to look forward to. Um, in relationships, for example, you always got to future pace things. What does future pacing means? It means like painting a bright future together all the time. Because if you
Mm,
think about a company, like say take a company
yeah.
like Apple or Nike's or any company in the world, like, even OpenAI, ChatGPT, whatever. They always have a
Yeah.
roadmap. They always have a vision they look forward to, so that the company, the
What they
team
want to be in
the
the
team,
future.
yeah,
Yeah.
the team is motivated to keep going because they have that vision they're looking towards, and so same thing in a relationship. If you don't have a strong vision for the relationship and how it's going to unfold, kind of a roadmap, we're going to accomplish this, and then we're going to do this, and then we're going to do that, and we're going to do this trip together, and in the future we're going to do this together. You have kind of milestones. Then the girl feels like the relationship, or even you, not just the girl, you feel like
Mm,
the relationship doesn't have any strong vision, any strong
feel. Yeah.
things to look forward to. So that
Sure.
also is going to sustain the relationship, like having future projecting things, with her. That's very important. There's
Mhm.
so many things, man, but just being a master at making women invested and making women contribute to the relationship. There's a lot of things you can do
Right.
to make women invested in the relationship as well. Because I'm a true believer that there's no free passengers in the relationship. Like it's not
Mm,
like, oh, she's a princess and she does nothing and I'm the one doing everything. The girl needs to
yeah.
contribute actually. And the whole purpose of being good at game is to some extent making her even more invested in you than you are in her. Like that's like really where, because here's the thing, and I'm going to give you like a quote that's going to sum up everything. The
Yeah.
person the person who has the most power in a relationship is the person who needs the other the least. If you need her the least
Mm,
and you don't really need her and you're living your life the right way, and she's the one investing more than you do, and she's the one being into you more than you do, then you have all the power in the relationship, and you know that she's going to be there for you for a long time. But
right.
you always need to have the power in the relationship, and you always need to be able to walk away. You need to keep that walk away power. That's very, very important. A lot
Right.
of guys also, because they don't have any walk away power, they get entangled and they get trapped, and it's over. Like the girl has all the power there. So yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you can't walk away from the table, you don't have negotiating power in the deal to begin with.
Exactly.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. And when it comes to like maintaining an LTR, I think where most people mess up is when, like you said, they start to change who they were. And it's not necessarily because of anything, but because perhaps at the beginning their goal was, I'm going to build my body, I'm going to build a business, I'm going to do one, two, three, four, five, in order to get that. And as soon
Mm.
as they got them, the goal is achieved. So now I have
Yeah.
nothing more to work for. So the business
Yeah.
becomes a burden. Like, do I really need to wake up? Oh man, I have to go to the gym at this time. Do I really need to do that? Because in his mind, the goal has already been achieved.
Mm.
And I think this is where most of them mess up because they forgot that the goal is not to get her. The goal is to get her on the boat in order to build a bigger empire than the one you
Yeah.
had yesterday. That's the whole point. If you want to build an empire, you can't just stop building. Like the Romans really didn't care, right? It's like, okay, we the east, let's go to the west. Let's check it out. What's going on? It's I think that's what this also relates to, like the beginning of the conversation where we talked about the mindset that boys need to have in order to become men. You need to have that hunger. Like, I'm not going to stop until the empire has been constantly improving, which means you're never going to stop because you're in the
Yeah.
league of 10 million, or let's say you made your first million, and now you're like, okay, I made my first million, I can make 10. Then nothing stops me from making 10. So they make 10, and then they make 10, and they're like, I think I can make 50, yeah. And then they make a 50, and then they make 100, and it just keeps on going. And this is also, I believe, part of what you said is that it keeps her interested because she's always looking at you as the best option she could have. You're always constantly leveling up. He's just
Yeah.
never going to stop leveling up.
Yeah,
And
man. I mean,
so, and they crave that.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I was, I was in Paris a few weeks ago, and I was in the Qatar Prix de l'Arc de Triomphe. It's like it's a Qatar prize that they give for horse race. I was in a horse race
Mm,
basically in Paris. It's called the Qatar
mm,
Prix de l'Arc de Triomphe. It's a prize that they do every year. There's a lot of rich people. There was like the Prince of Monaco. There was the Prince of UAE. There
mm.
was like so many big people. Also a
Yeah,
lot of. Yeah, a lot of different personalities and celebrities and stuff. And I was there, and what you said reminded me of one thing is like really when women are with you, what they're doing is they're betting on a horse. It's really like betting on a horse because women bet on horses, man. Like there's different guys that they
yeah,
can be with, but they bet on you as if they're betting on a horse and they pray for you to win. They pray for you to win, but
yeah,
they're not gonna wait endlessly for you to win. You still need to show some wins because at the end of the day, women they just stay at the finish line and they pick the winners. That's what women do. They're hypergamous. They stay at the finish
yeah,
line, they pick the winners. But they can also bet on a horse. If they see that a horse is well on its way to winning, then she can bet on a horse. But the key is that you need to show that you're willing to run that championship. You're willing to run.
right.
If you're not willing to
Yeah,
run, then she's not going to bet on you. But if you show that you're
that's why.
willing to run and willing to win, then they're going to bet on a horse. So yeah, that reminded me of this. Women bet on horses, and women they like to chase. They love to chase a champion, that's
Mm.
gonna win. And yeah, men, our goal is to chase the championships, and women, their goal is to chase the champions. That's what it is. So
Mm.
so
That's
so yeah,
brilliant. That's brilliant. Because men are interested in things, women are interested in people. I think
you
that's
can
that's
look,
the
you can
biggest
say
difference.
that way. Yeah, yeah,
That's the biggest difference. We want to build an empire. She wants the emperor. That's the
yeah,
biggest difference. That's the
yeah. And
biggest
it
difference.
comes
And
back
and
to the
here
quote
today,
as well. Sorry, go ahead.
yeah. No, no, I was just saying we like to build it ourselves. She just likes to be a part of it.
Yeah, it's the same quote as like, don't chase the butterfly, instead nourish your garden so that you can have the butterfly come to you, right? And
True.
that's very important as well. So build a great garden, build your life in a way where financially you have resources, socially you have resources, physically as well, you're strong, so that you have this beautiful garden full of resources that women want to be a part of. And that's ultimately what you need to do. But at the same time, that doesn't mean, and I want to give a disclaimer, that doesn't mean you don't do anything and you don't approach any girl until you have that situation. No. I was approaching girl when I was broke. I was approaching girls when I has literally zero in my bank account. I was approaching girl where I didn't even have a place to bring them to. You still want to do the actions. It's not like, oh, I'm going to wait till I have 1 million in my bank account to start approaching. You still want to approach, meet women, put yourself out there, but know that you got to also ultimately work on having this beautiful, beautiful garden that you can invite women into. Women like are like butterflies here in this analogy, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
That's
So
brilliant, man. That's brilliant. That's
yeah,
brilliant. And when it comes to doing this international system works everywhere because you're using from what I'm hearing right now, there's a lot of human psychology involved as well. And
Yeah.
human psychology works with as long as you're talking to a human. So I'm hoping you're not talking to any aliens. But if as long as you're talking to a human on the other side, it's gonna work. So
Yeah.
and the best part about this is when you go internationally and you meet different people, you create different experiences for yourself and you have a specific skill set that you're building along the way. And
Mhm.
so when it comes to going to different places after being established, let's say you do make comfortably, you make a couple of shekels, you're physically in good shape. Where do you think is what do you think are the best locations for
Mhm.
people to go in order to and I'm sure in the future the locations are going to change because things happen. So like
Mhm.
I've heard Ukraine was a very good place, but then everybody knows
Yeah.
what the political situation is right now. So that has definitely changed. Miami was good when it started, but now it's becoming a little bit like Dubai. So it's
Mhm.
things change, but let's say for now, where do you think are places that people could go and go like, yeah, okay, I'm going to find the best kind of people that I want to meet over here?
Mhm. Depends what your goal is and your income. Honestly, myself, I've always lived in Eastern Europe. I mean, not always, but as soon as I became financially independent, I moved there. So right after my
Mm,
studies, as soon as I made money, I knew I wanted to be in Eastern Europe because for me, it's really the best trade-off between not paying a super expensive like rent and stuff like that, and also having the best girls and having a good quality of life that's safe, etc. Whereas if I
mm,
lived in Miami, the quality of girls there is trash. A lot of hoes, a lot of girls who are gonna be there for money, a lot of gold diggers,
yeah,
super expensive rent. And yeah, but you have the sun and you have the views and you have the it's cool. Like a lot of people networking is great there. So it
mm,
depends what kind of guy you are in terms of your income, etc. If you're just starting out, like if you're making less than 5K a month, then either Southeast Asia or Eastern Europe. So I
mm,
recommend Tallinn, Estonia. Estonia is incredible. It has paid off a lot for me in terms of women, in terms of money, in terms of connections. I'm definitely pro Estonia because I live here
mm,
myself. I
yeah.
walk the talk. I live here myself, so I like Estonia because definitely in terms of the taxes, in terms of the girls,
Mm,
etc. You are rarely gonna find a country like Estonia where the rents are incredibly affordable. The women are amazing everywhere. It's not very
mm,
expensive. The only thing is the weather. So and for business is super like I got my bank account and my resident card and an apartment in 2 days. 2 days I had everything. Like everything was set up.
really?
Like it's so easy. Everything is so digitalized.
Mm,
Like in two
mm,
days you can have everything. Um so
really?
so like so yeah, Estonia is great. But in Eastern Europe you can have many good places. Like I was in Budapest a few weeks ago. It's great, but
Mm,
some of the buildings, I mean, I don't like the I mean you can find beautiful buildings and castles and history in Budapest, but there's a lot of dirty places and a lot of places
mm,
who, like, you can see the buildings are a bit, they're a bit dirty. Even you can see a lot of
mm,
homeless people. You can see that,
yeah,
I don't know, I don't like it. So I like Estonia because it's a good trade-off between like a really modern and clean city and also everything is safe, everything is clean, etc. So depends.
mm,
Eastern Europe, you can go to some countries like Romania or Budapest,
mm,
etc. But the problem there, and I've lived in Romania for 4 months in Bucharest. The problem
yeah,
with that is the city is dirty. It's really dirty. Like
yeah,
it's a dirt.
mm,
Like you have obviously some clean places, etc. But it's a bit dirty, it's a bit trashy, it's not like super, it's not really modern. Like also even to get papers done and stuff, it's not as fast. So I like when
yeah,
it's not only fast but also very clean, very safe, very
mm,
modern. So Estonia is great for
yeah,
that. Otherwise, look, if you make more than 5K a month, Dubai is amazing for, for
mm,
networking, for everything.
Yeah.
Dubai, and I'm actually gonna move to Dubai. Like my goal is to move to
Yeah.
Dubai by in 1 or 2 years. I want to move to Dubai because I
Yeah.
don't want to move to Dubai in when I'm stressed out, if I'm stressed out about money. Now, I'm not stressed out about money. I'm really like grateful about being able to travel the world, make money and stuff like that. It's not that I'm stressed out, but I didn't want to move, 2 years ago or 3 years ago because I wanted to attain a certain milestone in my business. So I think you have to, if you
Right.
want to go to Dubai, you have to assume, financially, like you need to have a certain level. So I would
Right.
say, like, if you're not making 5 to 10K with your business, Dubai might not be the best place for it's not the best
Yeah.
place in my opinion. Better if you go to Eastern Europe and you cut on the costs and you can focus
Yeah.
on scaling more. And plus, Dubai has so many distractions. So there's way more distractions in Dubai than in Estonia. Estonia is small, it's cold in the winter. It's
Yeah.
not like it's made for focus. Like if you really want to focus, go to a cold
Mm.
country where it's cold, it's dark in the winter. You can just focus. There's beautiful girls, but it's fucking cold and dark, and that's where you can fucking
Yeah.
focus. Yeah, that's what I do. I've
Hmm.
always lived in cold countries all my life. Maybe I'm gonna move to Dubai in 1 year or two, and that's gonna be a huge
Yeah.
change. But all my life, I've noticed like your productivity when you live in a cold country is usually higher, especially in the winter, because you just want to work. There's nothing to do. Like, yeah.
Right. Right.
So,
Yeah, because well, what are you going to do? Like build snowmen? Like what are you going to do? Like
I mean, you can
there's
always,
only one.
if yeah, if you're looking for distractions, there's always distractions with alcohol, partying, girls. But still,
Of
yeah,
course.
it makes you focus. Yeah. Yeah.
That's
So,
brilliant, man.
yeah.
You
So just to
mentioned
sum up,
Southeast Asia. Yeah.
yes.
No, no,
Yeah,
please
just to
carry
sum
on.
up.
Carry on.
No, so just Southeast Asia, Eastern Europe, and I
Mm.
would say if you're risk averse, you can go to Latin America, but
Mm.
to your risks and perils, because
Yeah.
it is a bit dangerous, in my opinion, to go there. I've seen a lot of
Mm.
horror stories of guys going there and bad stuff happening with the cartels and the
Mm.
people there. So you got to be careful. Even myself, I almost died in Mexico once because I was with friends and someone wanted to sell us drugs and we said no. And then he wanted to get our money and he was pointing out a weapon on us. So,
Mm.
like it's there. I don't know. Latin America, there's so many cartels and stuff. Like I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd
Yeah.
rather be in Eastern Europe or Southeast Asia if I'm going to live somewhere. Yeah,
Yeah.
personally. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, that's. But you know, you mentioned Southeast Asia, which is funny because I've heard a lot of people are afraid of going to Thailand. Like, how true is that? Because sometimes they say like there's a lot of like all this LGBT stuff, like people who are transformers. Let's put it that way. There's a lot
Yeah,
of
yeah.
Metatrons and Star Springs and
Transgenders, yeah.
yeah,
Mm,
yeah, yeah.
mm.
And so a lot of people like you just don't want to be dealing with somebody and then finding out it's oops, probably the wrong guy. Like
Yeah.
so
So, yeah.
yeah, what do you have to say about that? Like have you been to
Yeah.
Thailand before?
So I've been to Thailand in 2022. I was in Bangkok and Phuket, and yeah, I saw all the lady boys and stuff like that. It was very fun. It was very fun, to be honest. It was just like fun to, like, I was walking. Every time you walk down the street, you have like 10 different girls, like, hey, hi, beautiful, come with me. La, la, la. They're obviously a lot of them are lady boys, but if you ask them, they're
Yeah.
very honest about it. Like they're gonna tell you they're a lady boy.
Mm.
It very rarely happens where like you're with a girl and she doesn't tell you that she's a ladyboy if she's a ladyboy. Like she's gonna tell you. They're very transparent about
Mm.
that. So you will
Right.
know. I never had that issue when I was in Thailand, and you can meet a lot of amazing women in Thailand. The women who are straight in Thailand, like Thai girls who are straight, are great. Like they're very feminine, they're very open-minded. Like I've had crazy experiences with Thai girls, and I'm gonna go back. To be honest, my goal is to go back at least once every year or two. I go to Thailand in the winter. It's great. In January,
Mm.
February, March is the best season to go there. Probably this year I'm gonna
Mm.
go there. Maybe I'm gonna go to Bangkok in February and then Koh Samui or something. So I'm gonna see. But yeah, it's a great place, man. It's very peaceful, beautiful nature. Even if there are ladyboys, they're not really bothering. bothering at all. It's just funny. For
Mm.
me, it's just funny.
Yeah.
I have a great time having fun with them and just like talking with them or teasing them around and
Yeah.
then going for straight girls. Obviously, I'm not gonna fuck a
Yeah.
lady.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. That's superb. That's superb. Man, let's touch on what everybody's aching to hear about, the online platforms. And of course, you're very famous for saying that Instagram is king, Instagram is the best. And
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it was you who said it, but I think someone on the internet said that I think Tinder, Bumble, and Hinge are for
I
the
said it.
used
Peasants.
product. Yep, yep, peasants. I think that was the word. Yeah, yep, yep, yep. And so, and the kings use Instagram, and that's what they use. So,
Yeah.
how does one succeed with those? So, because a lot of people are trying to get the best results through dating apps and Instagram, but usually they're facing a lot of difficulty getting to that level. Like how what do you think are the mistakes that they're doing, and how do you think they can overcome those hurdles in order to get to the level that is required?
Yeah, so there's multiple elements to online presence. It all comes down to business in a way. It's like a business. So you have traffic and you have conversions. So you need to have traffic and you need to convert that traffic. You can get traffic from dating apps by, creating a profile, swiping, putting yourself in the dating market, the online pool of profiles in that market, on Tinder, on Bumble, etc., the local market of dating apps. But ultimately, the best thing to do is to have a strong Instagram with great pictures of yourself, great, high status stuff on it, and being able to generate demand yourself by you reaching out to girls, by you having a system that allows you to get leads in demand, not relying on a girl matching back. Because a lot of guys, they rely on
Yeah,
a girl matching back. If the girl doesn't match back, then it's over. But with Instagram, what's good is you don't need to wait for a girl to match back. You can text her. Now, yes, either she's gonna reply or not, but trust me, if you have a great profile and you have the right system, the girl can reply most of the time because your message is gonna be intriguing and your profile is gonna be standing out from the other guys. So of course, even myself at my level, a lot of girls don't reply, but there are more girls who reply than girls who don't reply because I choose them carefully and there's
yeah,
a way actually to select them. But yeah, a lot of the mistakes they make is they don't have the right profile, they don't have the right pictures, they don't know how to text the girls the right way. All of that. It's just that and some of them they don't have any traffic, so they don't have a profile on Instagram at all, or they don't have a good profile on dating apps, and they don't know how to convert that traffic. Even if they do have a match or they do have some demand, they don't know how to convert that demand into a closed deal, into a date. And so there's kind of a system to do that. So yeah.
that's brilliant. That's brilliant, man. So without revealing all your secrets, let's say I'm still not sure if that's the right word, but let's just use that for now because it's intriguing and it gets people to listen. Yeah. So without revealing a lot, what do you usually say to like when you're the one reaching out first? Because of course, if she reaches out, then you just there. Of course, you still have to respond with intrigue. You still have
Mm.
to be playful because you can't be like monotone. That's for sure. But what do you usually say?
Mm.
So in order to capture attention, in order to be playful, like what style do you think or do you advise people to use?
There's different styles. You can go with the very basic direct style, which is what I do 80% of the time, which is just, and I know it sounds a bit retarded or a bit too easy. But,
Mm,
there's a principle by Dale Carnegie that I read in the book, How to Influence People, How to Make Friends and Influence People. That book, everybody knows that book
yeah.
by Dale Carnegie.
Mm,
And one of the principles he says is that the most beautiful and appealing thing a person can hear is their name. So
yeah. So true.
yeah, anytime I communicate
So,
with a
so true.
woman,
Mm,
yeah. Anytime I communicate with a woman, I always mention her name. So let's say her name is Sarah on Instagram. Okay, her it's Sarah dot whatever or Sarah whatever. That's her Instagram.
Yeah,
And I found her profile, and that's a girl that's in my city. Because you don't want to, also, one of the mistakes that guys do is I don't know why they text girls who are far away from them. Like I see guys, they're in fucking US and they texting girls in Mexico. Like who cares? Like you're not gonna see them. So don't text
yeah,
girls who are far away from you. Text girls who are local in your vicinity. Don't waste your time with, I had a guy, fucking guy, man. He was in the UK and he was texting a girl in Japan. And that girl in Japan got him to invest in some coin in crypto and he lost like 15K. He was on a call with me. He told me that. I was like, why the fuck are you texting a girl in Japan, bro? And why the fuck are you sending her money? So like you crazy. It's just crazy. It's just crazy to me. Guys who just text girls far away from them. So text
yeah,
girls who are in your city. If she's in your city, she's here, she has a profile, she's normal, she's not a catfish. Then honestly, the most simple opener, and I know it sounds dumb, her name.
yeah.
That's it. Sarah. And that's it. Like honestly, that's what I do. Sarah. And then she's gonna say Limo. And I say, great. Are you in blah, blah, blah? And then she says, yes, I'm here. And then I say, great, I'm here too. And so then I say, oh, so what do you do here in blah, 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 besides breaking hearts? And then she says, whatever. And then I could say, but why are you hiding like that? Like, why did I never see you before like that? And then maybe she's gonna laugh. And then maybe and then we start talking about, oh, I can comment about something on her profile. Like, oh, I saw you were doing XYZ. Like, how long have you been doing XYZ? I don't know. And like, we start talking, there's different levels in the conversation, but really my basic opener could be just like her first name or first name, comma, city, question mark. So Sarah, comma, Dubai, question mark. That's it. That's my opener. That's it. Very simple. No flashy shit, nothing. Now, the simplest things in life are usually the best. And amateurs, they like to complicate things. That's what I've seen across all industries, whether in business, in fitness, in dating. Amateurs, all the time, they like to overcomplicate things. They're going to do this crazy ploy on Tinder system, weird trick that's not going to work.
Yeah,
Instead, keep it super simple. Experts, they simplify things. Send her name or her names, comma, city question mark. It's gonna work in most cases. Otherwise, I have some other openers. So another opener could be, what's interesting about your photos? That's one opener. Or another opener could be I have good news and bad news. That's it. And then you wait till she replies. And then when she replies, you can say something like, well, the bad news is that you're still single, but the good news is that we can fix that. And then you go into, talking with her. Um, Another opener could be something like quick question, and then that's it. Just quick question. Like just like you can have different openers, like but the main thing is it has to be very short and concise. The common denominator, like there's a common denominator between all these openers is that they're very short, they're intriguing, they want to make you reply, and
yeah,
they're straight to the point. So really, like you want to be straight to the point. The only goal of texting is to meet up in real life and to waste as little time as possible on it. So by the time you meet in real life. Like really, that's the goal of texting is meeting up as soon as possible. Don't waste
yeah,
time chatting up a girl for 2 weeks on end without proposing a meeting. Like most girls, I ask them out within the first 2, 3 hours of me texting with them if the conversation goes quick, or the first day the first day of texting with them. I ask them out. I don't fucking waste time. That's why it's efficient. That's why my clients get results because a lot of my clients, like before, they used to do all these complicated things online that were just adding some friction to the process, and it wasn't efficient. It wasn't they weren't straight to the point. They were beating around the bush too much, etc. And that affects your results. Like same for cold approach. For cold approach, like my approaches are not super complicated, but they're made in a way where it's high value, it's high impact. It's like very hard to say no, and it's very easy to just get the result, which is a date. So
man, that's just this. and you gave a lot of like useful openers that people you really will find very interesting and intriguing. And what I like about those is they kind of get her curious to give you a response.
Yeah.
So it's like the one that when you said like you have good news and bad news,
Mhm.
and it kind of like yeah, like she wants to know like okay what is that like what is he talking about, yeah. And
Yeah.
so this is very interesting because I think this is also part of communication, that this is how you get people to give you a response, or how you influence people to give you what you want without any malicious intent. And I like the fact that you said that you just like go directly for exactly what you want, because if you keep like wasting time like chatting up, and it's like she just sees you as a friend, and if she
Yeah.
sees you as a friend, like that's it, your friend zone, and you're never gonna get what you want,
Exactly.
because now you have to break out of the friend zone. That's a whole different topic. Yeah.
Yeah.
So and then yeah. So speaking of that, how do you actually break out of what people call the friend zone? Like
Hmm.
how do you get there? I mean, of course, everybody knows how you get there. You just don't have any intention and keep beating around the bush long enough, you're gonna get there. But
Yeah.
how do you get out? Is
Yeah.
the question that I think a lot of people have a problem with answering.
Mm. Well, it's hard to get out, honestly. Once a girl has like their first impression of you as that guy, or maybe you've spent like 2 or 3 years talking with her, or even less than that, even you can spend a few weeks talking with her, but in a very friendly manner, and she perceives you as that guy, it's usually very hard to kind of flip the script and completely, switch the dynamic, but you can still do it, although you might end up losing the relationship, but that's what you have to be willing to risk. If you don't take if you don't take the risk, then you lose. So I think if you really want to flip the dynamic, let's say you started off as friends and now you're in the friend zone and you want to get to the point where you can fuck her and have sex with her, then you have to be very straight up about talking about sex with her and letting her know that you find her attractive. Like you gotta let her know, have a conversation with her. Like, hey, I know it's gonna seem a bit random that I say this, but yeah, I know it's been a few weeks we've been talking together, and I didn't really want to show my intent because I really wanted to take the time to get to know you first. But like you're actually pretty attractive. I kind of like you in a way, and I just want to say this right off the bat. Like I don't care, and yeah, I wanna do something to you, but I don't want to say it, I want to show it. And then you look at her, you put some tension, you pause, and then you go for the kiss. And you try. You try. It has to be at the right moment. It has to be at the right moment. Like there's different things you can do. I've already done this once in my life and it worked. But you have to, yeah, and my clients have tested this too. But yeah, you just have to at some point interrupt the pattern completely. Like everything
Mm.
you used to do, like you just interrupt the pattern completely. You're just that sexual guy now. And you show her that, okay, you
Yeah,
show intent. You're more physical, you're more into sex, you're more into showing her intentions, like sexual intentions. You have to just flip the script 360 on her. And either you
yeah,
risk doing that or you're fucked and it's never gonna happen. So yeah.
right.
So otherwise, better cultivate some other options because it's not gonna happen if you don't do this.
That's
So
right. That's right. And
yeah.
then at the end of the day, if you take the shot and for whatever reason it doesn't work, then you really didn't lose anything. As a matter of fact, you
Yeah.
save time. You can
Yeah.
just move on, find something else. So yeah,
Or
man,
just
that's
befriend
perfect.
her. Yeah, or just
Mm.
befriend her to get her into your social circle and use her as a female friend who can give you pre-selection and introduce you to other women. Use her as an asset to your social circle. You don't need
That I
to.
was going to ask about next. Yep,
Yeah,
yep. I was going to
yeah.
ask about that next. This is really interesting how things are played out. It feels like, man, this is going to sound so strange to say, but I think God has already planned this conversation to happen. He's already planted out the blueprint on how it's going to go. Because every
Maybe.
time you
Yeah,
mention something, it's like I already wanted to ask that. So, man, this
yeah.
is this is brilliant. This is brilliant how this works. And because my next question was going to be is the exact way on how you could use, because this is something I used to do. Yeah? It is like, how do you get the first? She might be your friend, she might be your partner. how do you use her to scout more people? Because I have
Mm.
my way, but maybe your way is different. So I just want to know. So usually, what I would do is I would like, for example, if we were at a place, I would we would just like walk by, and if we see like a group of girls, we just say, yeah. By the way, I have an argument with her, and I kind of need a feminine perspective other than hers. So and then I just lay out something ridiculous, right? So I just lay out something ridiculous, like are frogs actually frogs because they have legs or because they don't have tails? It's like
Okay.
something so ridiculous
Yeah.
we all just laugh it off, and then she kicks in. She starts the conversation with him, and then that's it. Now they're part of my group too. So it's just something I used to do, but I want to know how you would go about it.
Mm. Well, I mean, you can use your female friends in many ways. Like you can use your female friends with your online presence too, because if they tag you in stories and stuff, that adds pre-selection. Or if
Mhm.
you show them in your stories, you show that you're doing stuff with girls, that adds pre-selection. But then in real life, whenever I go to a party or an event, I try to bring with me two, three girls usually, and those two, three girls, I'm gonna train them. I'm gonna tell them beforehand, like, look, hey guys, I want you girls to be great wing girls tonight, blah blah blah. And like, if we see some girls, you girls are
Yeah,
gonna wing me. You girls are gonna introduce me to some
yeah,
girls, and I kind of coach them a bit before I tell them, like, hey, you guys, I hope you guys are great wing girls, blah blah. And like, we have this team dynamic, and they like to do
yeah,
that. Most girls like to be the matchmakers. Like most girls, they find some
mm,
some fun in that. So
yeah,
when we go to a party or to an event, sometimes I would say to one of my female friends, like, "Hey, you see that girl there, the brunette one? Yeah, that one. Yeah, that one. Just go and say hi to her and just try to befriend her a bit."
yeah,
And then introduce me. And usually they're gonna go and they're gonna compliment the girl, like, "Oh, I love your outfit. Hi, blah blah blah. Where are you from?" I don't know. And they start,
yeah,
talking with each other. And then they say, "Oh, by the way, I'm with my friend Limo. Have you met him? Oh, this guy, yeah, he's girls just fall for him, all right? So be careful with him because
yeah,
girls just fall for him. But I'll introduce you to him, but yeah, be careful." And they kind of tell the
yeah,
girl
yeah.
like that I'm in demand already. Like they tell the girl that I'm in
Mm,
demand already and that girls kind of just
right.
fall for me. That way, it already
Yeah,
primes them to see me that way, which affects their
yeah,
perception of me. Because
mhm,
female attraction is highly influenced by how other women perceive you as well.
that's right.
It's like imagine you have different ball of yards, right? You know what those balls that cats play with? Those little balls.
Yeah,
There's like
yeah, yeah. The
if
string
one
one.
yeah, exactly, with the strings. Yeah, yeah. If one
Yeah,
cat likes to play with that ball, the other cats like to play with that ball as well. There's been a lot of experiments where like it's highly affected.
mm,
Like, and females are like cats. Like if one cat likes something, they like to chase that thing too. So if you have a girl that that is your friend that goes and talks to another girl and then tells the other girls that you're that cool guy that girls fall for usually, and that
mm,
she should meet me, then
yeah,
your perception is already pre-framed in your advantage. And then you need no game almost at this point. Like the girl is gonna come, you're gonna talk together, she's already pre-framed, you've already been introduced by a girl, so there's trust there and reciprocity and stuff and liking.
yeah,
There's so many different cognitive biases that are gonna work in your favor in that case where like the
yeah.
sale is already made almost. So
Okay.
yeah,
Yep,
that's what
yep.
I do.
So having a scouting team is actually very important.
Scouting
So,
team,
so yep,
yeah, and online also having some girls who can introduce you to some other girls too. I have sometimes some female friends that tell me, "Hey, do you want me to text this girl?" And I can tell her to, I can basically get you guys together in a
matchmake. Yep,
conversation. Like
yep,
yeah,
yep.
yeah, you could do that. That happened to me many many times. Like referrals, like a girls who refer another of her friends. That's one thing that happens a lot as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
Um, yeah, those are the ways, man. There's more,
That's great,
but
man.
I can't reveal
Yeah,
everything here.
of course,
Yeah.
of course, of course. But guys, whoever is listening to this, either now or in the future, eh, this guy knows what he's talking about. Like, there's a reason why this episode is being recorded is because this guy knows what he's talking about, and this is great, man. This is great because there are a lot of people who who would go around recruiting women for scouting purposes. It's like, but the difference is when you recruit women like from escort websites and stuff like that,
Oh
it's
yeah,
not the
that's
same as
yeah.
it's really not the same because people could tell like if a woman really desires
Yeah.
and it's obvious right off the bat. And so when you go to an event with two, three girls, like you said, who genuinely desire you and enjoy being part of your system and routine, other men recognize that too. And other men with power recognize that, especially if you're in a place where a lot of men with power come here. And
Yeah.
so they go like, "Hey man, like what is the what's about this guy? Like I'm sure I'm richer than him. I'm sure I have more resources than him. But something about this guy I like and I can't know what it is." And then and this is sort of how also you can build a relationship with another guy who has power and resources, and you
Yeah.
just you share ideas and you grow your network that.
It's funny you said that. Yeah, yeah. It's funny you said that because yeah, winners like to associate with winners when it comes to women and guys also. What's good is once you have that skill of attracting women, you can actually use that skill as value arbitrage. So let me explain this. So for example, let's say you happen to be in a club with two or three girls, but you don't have a table. You're just like in the main dance floor. You don't have a table. You don't have a VIP, but you happen
Yeah.
to be with two or three beautiful girls. So this is what happened to me when I was in Paris 3 weeks ago. I was in a club in Paris called Medellin Club, and I went out with a few girls that I knew, but I didn't book a table. We just went to the club, me and some girls. And
Mm,
there was a group of Lebanese guys who had the best table, but there were only three guys with like five bottles, and they were
mm,
like with bottles, best table, etc. Now I had those two, three girls, and I was like,
mm,
how can I value arbitrage this situation? Well, I went up to one of the guys and just introduced myself and just talk with them, vibe with them, ask them where they're from, etc. And just networking, you know. They have their business and stuff, so it's cool. And so we networked together. And then I told them, look, um, here's what we could do. If you want, I bring two, three girls with me, and what we could do is, we could do this exchange. I stay here with the girls with you at the table, and you guys, we have fun with the girls, and we bring more girls. And they
yeah.
were up for it. They were up for it because like
Mm,
the guys want that. Like if they don't have a table or whatever, you can. If you're broke right now, you can use the skill of seduction as a way to get your access to some circles, to some guys as well. You
mm,
can use that as leverage. Many times in my
yeah.
life, I I was able to get in because I had girls, or I was able to get into a situation because I had the skill of like making girls come to the situation. So there's different things
Yeah.
like that. Like there's plenty of private parties I've been invited to because the guys knew I could bring like at least five girls with me. So there's a lot of
Mm,
different things like that, and so you can use that skill as leverage
yeah.
and value arbitrage
Mm,
situations too. Very powerful.
yeah. 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 Man, I'm curious about the question I'm about to ask is like very kind of oddly specific when it comes to situations because it's kind of scenario oriented, right? So let's just imagine that some guy comes in with a group of people, and a situation like this happens where he doesn't have a table. He has two, three like girls with him, and he talks to some guys, and they manage to get a table because of that. And so those guys are also on the table with him. But what if, for whatever reason, those guys were the kind of desperate dudes? Like there's a lot of rich, desperate people,
Mm,
and what if those girls were more sort of having a thing with the guy who brought them in? Like
mhm,
let's
mhm,
say let's
mhm.
say a guy called Omar, yeah, all right,
Yeah.
and then Omar brings the girls and he talks to, yeah, and those other guys who had the table
Mm,
because of their out of their desperation is really their first time being so close physically to
mm,
to to someone that attractive, and they try to do something fun. What do you advise Omar to do in a situation like that?
mhm, mhm. Well, number one, the girls usually, before we go to the table with the guys, before I bring the girls, I will tell the girls like, hey, if there's anything, let me know. And these guys should be cool, but if there's anything, let me know, etc. and usually the girls are going to come to the table just to profit from the alcohol. They're not going to do anything with these guys. They're going to talk to them, but they're not going to do anything
Yeah.
sexual or whatever. Now, if the guy tries to do things sexually, etc., or he tries to dance a bit too close to the girl
Mm.
without the girl's consent, then I will check with the girl if, he's bothering her or not. And if yes, then I will explicitly tell the guy, like, look, this girl is already taken, bro. Like, sorry about that. She's already taken. She already has a guy now. But look, what I can do is I can bring some other girls for you. But these girls, they already have a guy actually. So I will make it clear to them that they have a guy. I'm gonna bring more girls. We're gonna approach more girls and bring them to the table maybe. But I'm gonna make it clear about that, and that's it. And usually they understand. Like, I never had a situation where I told the guy she has a boyfriend, she's taken already, she's not that interested, and they keep doing it too much. I just bring another girl.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we just leave the table. We just take a few drinks and we leave the table and we go back, you know. But that's what happens, usually, to be honest. There's no point in getting into a fight or anything in those places. You just want to talk with the guys, tell them that the girls are not interested or they have a boyfriend or whatever, and that's it. That's it. Or you bring some other girls who are single as well.
Yeah.
One thing that's very powerful to do in a nightclub when you're with two, three, four girls is to try to what we call merge groups. So you want to merge groups together. So if you have one group of girl, let's say you're with a group of girl in a club, you're with two,
Mm.
three girls, that's your group. And you see that next to you on the dance floor, there's like two, three other girls. That's a group as well, because girls usually move in groups in nightclubs. Well, what you want to do ideally is you want to be the guy who almost like a spider, you are
Mm.
building nets between groups. So you're like, oh hey, by the way, did you meet my friend? Here's my friend. You guys should meet, blah blah. And you're like, you approach a group and then you use the girls you have to leverage and make them meet the other groups and kind of
Mm.
connect girls together on the dance floor. So you approach a
Right.
group of girls, you tell them to meet the girls you have, and you merge them together. And now you create a bigger group. And then you can do this with multiple groups and create a bigger group. Many times I've been with, there's many times where I went to a club with one girl, and I end up with a group of like 10 girls in front of me. We're a big group because we're just building those connections, right? And we're
Yeah.
merging groups together. We're building a bigger group. And then you can use that bigger group to value arbitrage things with also the guys who have a table if you don't have a table, or the guys who whatever. Like, you can do so many things. Many times I had free bottle service because of that. Yeah.
That's great, man. And for future references, the club owners are calling you and they're like, we'd like we can book you a table if you want, and the
Yeah.
drinks are on us, but we want you to be here with people,
Yeah.
because the more people that walk in,
Yeah.
the better for the business.
Yeah, well, in Canada at some point I was a club promoter for a few months because of that. In the
Oh,
summer,
that's great.
I was a club promoter for 2 months because I was able to bring enough girls. And with Instagram, I was DMing like at some point when I was a club promoter, I was DMing like 200 girls a day on Instagram, and that's how I learned how to text girls. By the way, back in 2018, 19, I was doing that intensively, like really texting girls like 200 girls a day. Like, I was my whole day I was just texting girls and inviting them and
Yeah,
talking with them. And so that helped me get the reps of like texting and knowing what works and coming up with good value proposition and good texting stuff that really makes people reply. And
right.
and yeah, when you and I became a club promoter because of that skill. And yeah, then you can even make deals with nightclubs and stuff. You can get stuff for
That's right.
free next time and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Man, that's brilliant. It's brilliant how everything is just, you get to leverage, like, just by having one skill, you get to leverage everything else, man. That's great. That's great. And Limo, this has been a pleasure. This has
Yeah, it's
genuinely
been a
been a
pleasure,
pleasure.
man.
And
Yeah.
man, just before we wrap this up, I just have the last question, which I think a lot of people have actually asked, is how do you communicate effectively with 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 uh, with a woman in order to display? Of course, we've already talked about like having like
Mhm.
non-negotiables, like certain things you just cannot do, and I'm not going to negotiate about that, and there's no way to walk back on them. But the most effective way of communication is, you mentioned having women involved. What uh, what do you think are more things you could add to that? Like, what do you think
Yeah.
most of the guys are also missing?
Well, I didn't say the most effective way of communication is saying you have women involved. I mean, yes, pre-selection is highly effective when it comes to building more attraction, like because women are attracted to guys that other women desire. So if you're a guy
Mm.
that other women desire and other men admire, then you're going to be attractive as a guy because other guys want to be like you and other women want to be with you.
Yeah.
So,
Mm.
obviously you're going to be more attractive that way because you have social proof and pre-selection. But the most effective way to communicate with women is communicate in a high status way, and this is where high status communication comes into play, and the power of framing things. So there's a whole concept of frame control in conversation, but it all stems from that first, because if you don't have the right frame in the conversation, if the conversation is not framed a certain way, then
Yeah.
you're already coming into a conversation at a disadvantage. So if you come with the wrong frame where the women has kind of the power frame there, because
Yeah.
there's always like whenever you talk to a woman, it's almost like a frame battle. Sometimes not. Sometimes the frame is already established where you're in the power, but sometimes you
Yeah.
talk with women and they have a strong frame, you have a strong frame, and there's this frame battle. And if you don't
Mm.
win that battle, then she kind of has the power position in the conversation. The best way to communicate with women is just coming from the frame that you're the buyer, you're not the seller. You're not there to sell yourself. You're there to see if she meets your standards. So you come from a qualifying frame, number one, a frame where you're that high value guy. You have standards, you know what you want, and you're just seeing if she qualifies. You're just seeing if that's a girl you might get to like. You're never sold yet, but you're just seeing if might meet your standards. That's the first frame. And you always want to come from the frame of the screener, not the screened. A lot of guys, what they do is they let the women screen them. They let the women have the control in the conversation. They let the women ask them all the questions, and they're kind of in reaction to the woman the whole time. The woman asks things and they react and they say things. Instead, you want to be the one who acts and you want to be her that reacts. You want to be the the screener and you want her to be the screened one. So it's very important to have that dynamic where you're the screened one, you're the screener, you're the buyer, she's the screened, she's the one who sells herself. That's the first, really first foundation of every conversation. You need to have that frame ideally established. Now, to build attraction, listen, women are attracted differently to men than men are attracted to women, because women, they're almost like, I mean, let me start with men. Men, they're more like a light switch. We see a woman, okay, and if she's hot, we immediately get attracted to her because she's hot. Like it's like a light switch, it's almost instant, it's primal, because we see signs of fertility, we see signs of youth, etc. And so we like that. Now, women, it's more like a volume knob. It's more gradual. Like it's not like a light switch where it's instant. It's more like a volume knob where they get attracted to you over time after you've displayed a certain amount of attributes and behaviors that would make you a man who's capable of providing and replicating the right way. So yeah, that's the first thing. Now, to communicate with women effectively, there's different things you need to do. You need to learn how to demonstrate high status traits and high value. So there's different ways in the conversation where you can do this. I'm not going to get into that. You need to learn how to flirt the right way and all of that. You need to learn how to escalate things, how to sexualize things. You need to learn how to detach yourselves from logic and be able to get her into an emotional roller coaster, because 95% of women, they live boring lives, man. Like they don't want another boring conversation. They don't want another factual conversation. They want you to make her they want to feel that the conversation is can be unpredictable. Like you can say whatever, and that they can't really predict what you're gonna say, right? That's very attractive to a woman, knowing that you could say whatever's on your mind without having a certain agenda. So that's one thing. So really being able to talk with emotionality and elicit emotions from her. Now, another thing to understand is that women are very solipsistic, which means that women they think about themselves a lot and they like it when the world revolves around them. And so you have to make the conversation about her first. Don't talk too much about yourself. Make her talk about herself as much as possible. Because that's how she's going to start really investing and liking you as well. So make her talk as much as possible about her. Speak with emotionality, learn how to demonstrate high value and control the frame, learn how to qualify and disqualify and tease her in a way, learn how to escalate and sexualize things. And if you know some of these skills, then you have uh, an evergreen portfolio of tools that you can use to your favor in your conversations. But I can't go too deep into that here because it would take me literally 20 hours. I can talk
Yeah,
about this for a
yeah,
long
but
long time.
one podcast ain't enough, man.
Yeah.
One podcast ain't
And
enough.
yeah,
Yeah.
and this is why there's this is why I do what I do, I have a full program. I do a shameless plug, guys, here because I know some of you guys are here because you wanna obviously improve your dating life. And honestly, I can say whatever here on this podcast, and you're gonna learn a lot of things. But
Yeah.
truly, what's truly gonna make a difference is if you invest in yourself and really learn these systems in a more detailed way and in a way that's more because like there's a difference, man, between me saying stuff here and you really dissecting how the systems work and understanding the full psychology behind what I'm saying now. And once you understand these things, like your dating life is going to change forever, and you're going to start seeing things a whole lot differently. And everything is going to click once you understand all the variables. So it's like in business, like there's a few things, once they click and you understand the variables, everything takes off. It's really the same for dating. For
Mm,
many years, I've
mm,
struggled in business and in dating because of that. I didn't have the full pieces, but once you have the full pieces, you understand some very detailed stuff and very niche things about how things
yeah.
work, and it's like a puzzle. You assemble all the pieces of the puzzle together, the whole picture comes up, so yeah.
That's brilliant, man. That's brilliant, man. It's really been a pleasure, man. It's really been a pleasure.
Yeah, me too.
It's
It's been a
always a
real
pleasure
pleasure.
having a conversation with you. It's honestly really it's always a good time. It's always a good time spending time with you, having
I
conversation with you.
appreciate it. Me
And
too, man.
man, genuinely, even outside of just dating, like uh, as a person, you're really rich in the soul and in the mind. So it's really it's just always a pleasant conversation to have with you. This is brilliant, man. This is brilliant,
I
and thank
appreciate
you
it.
for
Me
your
too.
time.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time, man. This was
Yeah.
guys. This was Limo, the system builder. Yeah,
Yeah.
the
We can call me that. Yeah.
man.
You can call me that.
It's like you can't even find words, man. It's kind of like how do I describe this? Because there's so many things to say, and if you say you could describe Limo in a few ways, but then you feel like yeah, but you left out the other stuff, so you got to include that too. There's so many things so many brilliant things that could be described about you, but
I
it
appreciate that.
just won't be doing it justice to mention some and leave some. So it's just that guys, check him out, check him out. He's
Yeah,
got
follow me on Instagram,
what.
guys. Follow me
Uh,
at Limo Oueslati. You'll be able to see how I structure my Instagram as well as for inspiration. I have two profiles. I have one that's more low key, limo.weslati. That's kind of the main profile I DM girls from because I have less stuff
mm,
about business and dating there. And I have an official
yeah.
profile, Limo Weslati, where you can follow me on. And yeah, I do many things, guys. I have also a networking app for business owners. So if you're a business owner, if you are a business owner and you want to
Yeah.
network with other business owners around you or even globally, you can sign up to an app called Meetworth that I've developed, and you can
Mm,
connect with other entrepreneurs as well. That's one thing. I have like this networking app that I'm developing. It's called Meetworth. You can check it out on Instagram. It's on my profile too. And
yeah.
yeah, also DJ. Now I have a gig also this weekend. I'm gonna DJ at some place. So I'm still putting myself out there, guys. Like I'm DJing, I'm traveling, going out. I'm running boot camps 5 times a year as well with clients where I travel with them. We for 3 days we go out intensely, daytime, nighttime. We do this together in real life. So I'm still putting
Right.
myself out there, guys, in real life, traveling, helping guys, and I have my main program online as well, which is the called the Dating Accelerator program. So
Yeah.
yeah, if you want to find me, you will find me. You can check, every social media. I'm on every social media, guys, like Facebook,
Yeah.
YouTube, Instagram, everything. So let's link up. Let's keep in touch. I have plenty of free resources as well. If you reach out to me and you just text me if you want to get some free resources, I have plenty of PDFs and videos and trainings that I've done over the years.
Oh yeah, I've checked them out. I've checked them out myself. It's very rich in content. It's very valuable, and
Yeah,
it also cuts a lot of the hard work that initially has to be put in because you already have a head start. It's
yeah.
brilliant. It's brilliant, man. What you do. Yeah.
I appreciate it. Yeah. So yeah, guys, just don't hesitate to reach out, follow me, text me if you want help and you want to potentially take it to the next level. And yeah, it was a pleasure. I hope you enjoyed. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, and yeah, see you very soon. Do you have
Man.
anything else on your mind, Marcel? Any anything else you wanted to do
Well,
before?
well, man. I mean, yeah, you've already answered all the questions. Yeah, like there's. It's just that, man. I just want to say peace and love, man. Peace and love. May
Yeah,
God
peace and
protect you
love.
wherever you go.
You too,
May you have more successes and may you have more wins. That's what it is, man. This was genuinely a pleasure. This was genuinely a pleasure. That I've genuinely enjoyed having this conversation with you again. And man, it's just looking forward to more conversations. Maybe in podcasts, maybe privately. We're certainly going to meet. And
for sure.
man, this was genuinely a pleasure. This is genuinely a pleasure,
Yeah,
man.
I
Just I
appreciate it.
wish you all the best, man. Have a great time.